All right, welcome back, everybody. Let's take a look at an interview that we've got here in studio as a way of encouraging entrepreneurship and celebrating Global Entrepreneurship Week. Today, we're talking to Xolani Ndzaba, who is the CEO of Lethabo Milling. It's a company that manufactures maize meal. Lethabo is a 100% South African black-owned milling company based in Ventersburg in the Free State province. Now, after working for, 25 years at different companies, including SABC, United National Breweries, Tiger Brands, and Papa Super Maize Meal, Talani is here to talk about his journey. So good to have you in studio. Welcome to Morning Live.
Thank you, Leanne.
All right. And I mean, we talk about becoming an entrepreneur, but I suppose it takes a lot of shaping and a lot of going through the system in order to learn these ideas to come out and be a successful entrepreneur such as yourself. What was your journey like?
Thanks for the opportunity to have invited me to studio. Actually, I owned my first business when I was 8 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Doing what? Please tell me, at 8 years old, what were you doing?
On my 8th birthday, my father bought me a bag of oranges to share with my friends as a gift for me. So I gave about 8 of those bags 8 of those oranges to my friends, and I took the rest to go and sell them at school.
Yeah.
And that's how it set me up into business. Then later on, I would graduate to selling oranges, apples, peanuts, sweets, and cologne, the roll-ons.
Yes, yes.
On the Soweto trains after school from 3:30 in the afternoon up until 11 at night.
Wow.
I did that up until I completed matric.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So that was the first start for you. But then, of course, you got into the corporate sector. And then you started, like I said, through SAB. You went through United National, Tiger Brands, you name it.
Yeah.
What was it like being in that corporate world?
I think I came through the ranks. And I started off as a laborer when I joined SA Breweries. I worked myself up until I got into management. And then thereafter, I think I worked in manufacturing. My background is around manufacturing, sales and marketing and distribution. And I did that in that 25-year career. Yeah. And I think that's where I honed my skills, and I was trained to prepare myself to what I am today. Yeah. And in each and every company that I went to, I learned the art of how production should be managed, how sales and marketing should be managed, because I was a rock face of consumers and customers at that stage. That's when I was working. Yeah. But I think thanks to them for giving me the opportunity to have made me to what I am today.
You kind of, and it is a school of thought that you feel quite safe when you're in the corporate world. You've got that regular income, you've got your monthly salary check, perhaps if you're lucky enough, you get a Christmas bonus. Yeah. And the problems at the company, they affect you, but not as dramatically as if you own your own company. What gave you the backbone to go and open up your own business and leave the comfort of obviously a great salary and doing really nicely in corporate?
Yeah. I've always wanted to own my own business, and even when my father was still alive, I used to tell him that when he asked me what is it that I wanted to be, I said I wanted to be a businessman. And growing up in Soweto, I saw all these small spaza shops as they started, and I said that's not me. I'm not a retailer, I'm a manufacturer. And I took the step because I had always wanted to move into manufacturing. Now, moving into 1994, when new laws were passed, BEE and so on, I saw that as an opportunity as well for me to be able to operate in the mainstream of the economy. I think the other thing that actually pushed me to get into that was for me to be able to create job opportunities, especially for the youth, and also to ensure that I leave a lasting legacy in terms of whatever I had learned in the other companies. Yeah.
Milling. I mean, maize milling, not the easiest of industries to go into. But I suppose you were given quite a good background in when you were at Papa Super Maize Meal.
Yep.
But how did it happen that you went and you started going into milling and into your own company?
1977, I was sent to the Eastern Cape for schooling purposes because of the riots in Soweto in 1976. And I came face to face and learned the art of milling. There's a process which is called ukungqusha, whereby you pour raw maize meal into a stone, and then you start stamping it, and you pour a little water, and then you start stamping it up until you get stamp, and then which would be cooked. So I saw that and said, okay, if people can do this, maybe one day I'll own a milling company. I just loved that. Then later on I started reading and learning, even before I joined Papa Super Maize Mill, and understanding what happens in the milling industry, because I had already seen an opportunity that people eat pap every day, which is as a result of them cooking maize meal. And that's how I got into the industry.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Let's just quickly wrap it up, because we're going to cross back to KwaZulu-Natal now, where we're actually focusing in on the drought situation and the water situation, shortage. And Free State is exactly the same. And no doubt, I mean, when you're in this industry, that's what you rely on as well. So there are difficulties associated with it. How do you work around the difficulties, that it doesn't actually go and sink your entire business?
I think when I did my business plan, there's a part where we talk about risk assessment and how do I mitigate the risk. So around my planning was to ensure that with my suppliers, I would be able to have maize available to us. But remember, this drought affects the whole industry.
Indeed.
It does not only affect us. So it all boils down to, like, is there enough maize in the pipeline coming from the suppliers? And if not, I think those suppliers would be able to import maize for us. I mean, because if we are unable to operate, then that means the 40 jobs, that opportunities that we've created will go down, and the legacy, what happens to that legacy? Yeah.
Well, listen, we wish you the best of luck going forward, and especially during this very tough time. But you know, it's admirable what you're doing. It really is, and I hope that many more people can follow in your footsteps, but successfully.
Well, I'm already working on that, especially with us having been enabled by being a participant of the MESMAT Supplier Development Program, and also with ABSA coming in on their ED program, Enterprise Development Program. That's how we're able to access the loan. And right now we're busy working with enabling farmers out in the black farmers that are in the villages that have been enabled by the government out in Mpumalanga province. So you'll get some new good stories to tell in the near future.
Lovely. Xolani, thank you very much for joining us here on the program. Xolani Ndzaba is the CEO of Lethabo Milling, operating in the Free State, and it's a great milling company there. But let's go back to KZN.